All right, everyone. We start off today recounting some of my adventure stories from New Orleans and the Atlanta airport. By the way, big shout out to Captain Bob and to Tim the Clanker, who I met actually in the Atlanta airport. Every time I go to an airport, it seems that I meet at least one person who recognizes me. At first, he didn't realize it was me. He's like, "You look so like someone from YouTube that I watch." And he didn't think it was me at first. Like, I took off the shades. He's like, "Oh shit, it's actually you." As you can see, I had a good time on Bourbon Street. By the way, we'll recount some scamming stories and probably the best food that I have ever tried in my entire life. It might even be better than eel sushi. It was literally that good, and of course, it was from Ralph's on the Park. We'll be talking a bit about food as well. I suppose some people are interested in this, so it's a little bit of a travel story. So, of course, I was going down there to New Orleans because I had a court case, as most of you know. But while I was there, I'm like, I'm definitely going to have some fun as well. Went back on the Natchez, the last real steamboat on the Mississippi River, actually. And trust me, if you go to New Orleans, go on the Natchez. It's fun. Make sure to get a dinner reservation because when you taste their red beans and rice and their fried catfish, you won't be regretting it. And I've got some footage of the paddle wheel on the back. It's got one of those big ass paddle wheels, probably as big as this room. And it's an actual steamship. So I've got some footage of Bourbon Street too. Went to Ralph's on the Park, had a great meal. Of course, I had turtle soup because, why wouldn't you want to? Now, the turtle soup is a 10 out of 10. It's utterly delicious. Just trust me. Try it. But the soup of the day was a crayfish bisque. Of course, I had to try that as well. It's an 11 out of 10. It was absolutely spectacular. It might be the best food that I've ever eaten in my fucking life. Somehow, this is just the soup of the day. So they don't even serve it all of the time. And I was thinking to myself, you'd have people wrapped around the block just to get that. You could have a soup Nazi cook, and just sell this all day. You could probably market that commercially. If you took your recipe, whatever the hell the recipe is, and you were to have a food truck or something selling literally just that with some dippy bread or something, you'd make money hand over fist. Ralph's on the Park, by the way, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans. I give them my ringing endorsement. Reasonable also, the truffle fries are good. When you look at the price, you think, it's a little bit pricey. Not like, 5-star dining or something, but a little bit. But then you see how many fries you get. And you realize, this is pretty friggin' reasonable. So it's definitely a place to go. There and on the Natchez. Go to Bourbon Street, right? And there was going to be a parade later. So naturally, people are throwing these out off of the balconies, and one of them actually landed my hat at one point. Sometimes you can pick them up off of the sidewalk. Also, keep in mind, scammers, there was this little Asian dude, I believe a Hare Krishna. He was handing out good luck bracelets. And this is a common street tactic, especially on Bourbon Street and in areas around the downtown. Somebody will offer you something, and you think, you're giving it out for free. Well, they're not giving it out for free. So he gives me the bracelet, and then I had to pay for it. And I'm like, no, that's perfectly fine. Who cares? On the way back through, though, he tried to do it again, maybe not recognizing that I already had gotten one or whatever. He puts them on my arm, and then he starts to try to charge me. And he immediately forgot how to speak or understand English, by the way. And I'm like, no, you can have these back. I've already got a bracelet on anyway. He apparently didn't see it or again, remember. And he said, no, good luck, Ganesha. And I'm like, no, you can have these ones back. And then had to go on. Took a selfie with a dude who had a sign that said, huge ass. And, you give him $5 and you take a selfie. I thought that was funny. I posted that on Twitter. It was a very wild time on Bourbon Street. And people are throwing beads everywhere. Again, sometimes you get hit with a bead without even soliciting one. They try to sell beads on the street, by the way. If you meet somebody who has a big stack of beads and they're trying to hand one to you, probably when you put it on, they're going to ask for money. You don't need to do that because people up on the balconies are throwing them all over the place anyway. People stock up and then they have a whole field party. There were 5 or 6 jazz bands going on at the same time, and you'll see especially kids sometimes alongside the drumming, sometimes on like plastic buckets, sometimes on actual drums. It is a cacophony. It is a non-stop party for like 6 fucking goddamn blocks. Also, I found it funny. I got called Jack Sparrow probably 30 or 40 times while I was in New Orleans, and maybe a dozen more when I was in airports on the way back. Yeah, people would say like R-matey. I think some of them thought that I was some sort of performer or something like that as well at times. And I thought that was hysterical. Also, by the way, thank you very much to the clanker that gave me this hat. It is a real winner. Because, God, I got 20 or 30 people that just complimented me on the fucking hat. You know, you'd have to do Jack Sparrow, nice hat, and stuff like that. It was pretty friggin' funny. Happened all the time. I think it happened 5 or 6 times just when I was on Bourbon Street, let alone when I was wandering around elsewhere. So I'm guessing that the pirate outfit is a winner. So I'm going to keep dressing like this as often as possible, basically. It'll be harder in summer, I suppose. When I was on the plane, for some reason, the plane was like overheated. Like normally when you're at altitude, it's cold, but I was sweating like a stuck pig. I don't know what the hell happened. Like maybe the ventilation system was off, or the cooling system, or they had heat on, or I don't know exactly what happened. Yeah, but then in the Atlanta airport, I got recognized twice by clankers. Both of them said that they had been watching me for years. And I had delicious food there as well. Atlanta is also no food desert. Anywhere that you go in the South, it's always some good shit. Like, New Orleans is the food capital of the United States, effectively. If you want soul food, you've got Cajun, you've got Creole, you got like the hipster fare too. There's plenty of that. Yeah, there's no reason to go to McDonald's if you're in New Orleans. Let me put it that way. Delicious. I mean, Ralph's on the Park, again. Tell him that Styx sent you if you happen to be down there and you go there. You will not regret it. Trust me. It doesn't matter what you order. It'll be delicious. Probably the best restaurant I've ever been in, actually. And I've been in some good restaurants. It's better than places that cost twice as much, actually, so keep that in mind. You're getting what you pay for when you get the truffle fries and the and whatever soup they happen to be serving at the time. Try the turtle soup. If they have the crayfish bisque, and you're not allergic to seafood, strongly recommended. Yeah, that was I wish that I could have taken a gallon of it with me on the plane and just fucking chugged the soup. That was insane. But yeah, look out for the scammers. Definitely eat everything in sight because, again, you're not going to regret it in New Orleans. Is it a little bit pricey at some places? Like there's a tourist markup. Yes. Ralph's on the Park is actually a little bit cheaper because it's not on Bourbon Street. The closer you get to Bourbon Street or to the coastline, so like where the docks are and stuff, the more pricey things are going to tend to be. There are ways that you can avoid the high prices of a very, very touristy city. But a lot of it, the smell of Bourbon Street during party time, there's a little bit of a puke smell once in a while, but otherwise all you're smelling is good Cajun and Creole cooking, fried shit. I had a slice of pizza at one hole-in-the-wall place. It was actually really, really good. I was eating everything in sight. Probably gained a couple of pounds, actually. I feel bloated. But it was a fun time, generally speaking. It was, yeah. Make sure to go to Bourbon Street if you go to New Orleans. You won't forget. You won't never forget the experience. If you go in the middle of the night, it's literally just a gigantic throng of people. And there are people selling street art and foods everywhere and nothing. The places on Bourbon Street, most of them don't close down at night. There's a reason for that. But even if you go during the day, it doesn't matter what time of day you go to Bourbon Street. It's just fucking great. And there's like voodoo shops, hot sauce everywhere, which reminds me I got my dad a hot sauce. I've got to give that to him later. And so yeah, it was quite an adventure. I generally hate travel, but once I get to the destination, I can have a little bit of fun. And it always helps when you're dressed as, you know, the off-brand Jack Sparrow, and everyone keeps complimenting your hat. It gives me a boost. By the way, if you ever should see me in real life, don't hesitate to talk to me, especially if I'm not here in Rutland, because it actually gives me a morale boost. I can get socially anxious. This has been something that people have joked about before. It's funny because it's like I make my living talking to people, but then in actual social situations, I tend to be very, very shy and introverted. It's a little bit ironic, I think, at times. So yeah, go to Ralph's on the Park. Go on the Natchez. Cut loose for a little while and then go to Bourbon Street. You will not regret the experience. Just don't get scammed. Don't take anything from anyone under any circumstances or you will end up paying for it. That's about all. Peace out.